Welcome back to the channel. But we've got a treat for this brand new Tundra, and we're doing a move full brush guard bumper on it. So it's going to be like our previous bumper we did that was this style. It was on a GMC square body pickup, but we're going to actually install ditch lots and the 20-inch lot bar. Those are both the Black Series Rough Country. They are really good quality lots. They're super bright. We've got the Rough Country ditch lot brackets. This customer wanted to do a leveling kit, so we're going to install a leveling kit while we're at it. We're going to try to get the bumper done first, get the lights done, then we're going to throw the leveling kit on it. Also, tailgate ladder. This is a new product that they come out with. Westin carries this product. It's a ladder that folds up and attaches to the tailgate, inside the tailgate, so when you fold your tailgate down it just flips out. You can crawl up in the back of your truck a little bit easier. So we're going to get started with disassembly and get this front bumper taken off here.
So the first thing we're going to do before we get started installing all this is this bottom half of the bumper has to come off from here down. That's where the new bumper mounts up. Of course, when you're dealing with a front bumper or front bumper area, especially on a newer vehicle, make sure you disconnect the battery. The last thing you want to do is smite the airbag sensor with a hammer. So we're going to get that bottom half tore down, get the fog lights taken out, proximity sensors unhooked, and then start the mock-up.
Just going to do a little recap on what we've done so far. So we've got the main structure of the bumper tacked together and actually tacked to the mounting brackets. These mounting brackets are a two-piece bracket that bolt on to your factory tow hook mounts that are underneath the frame, and your factory bumper mount, which is 4 studs coming off the frame horn, and that's what your actual support bracket for the bumper is going to bolt to. Once you get those bolted up and adjusted, you're going to weld those solid and then fit the outside. We'll get some pictures of it here in a second. But you want to make sure you get everything lined up, everything centered. We've got everything centered and tacked. You've got your main middle piece of your bumper, your wings, and your end plates. The end plates have a slot in them. That is not for a light. That is for your actual full grill support. Your grill guard is going to slide down in that. Of course, you're going to have to adjust it, but it's going to be, you know, relatively something like that. Just going to show you a little glimpse of what these brackets look like. So there's your 4 mounting bolts. Your 2 mounting bolts for your factory tow hook, and I've already welded those up solid and tacked the bumper in. Look on the other side. So your factory oil cooler, we modified the bracket that holds that just a little bit. We slotted the hole out so we can move it back just to clearance this bumper for that right there, because that's pretty close. Sorry for the bad camera angles and all the shakiness, but hey, it's hot in here. Got everything finished welded here. We just want to make sure I ground all the back sides of this after I welded the back side of the bumper. I've ground the butt joint right there where the metal meets, and made sure I got good penetration, because that is the key to every good weld. You want to have maximum penetration on your heat. As far as your wire speed, you want to have your machine calibrated, dialed in where you're comfortable welding. Of course, you want to get everything nice and even. That just makes it easier to grind whenever you get to that point of grinding. Sorry for the bad camera angles. So this is what our bumper looks like so far. I'm going to flip it and get the bottom welded up after I get the butt joint ground down, and we'll start grinding and radiusing all the joints to where it looks like all one piece. We've added our fog light mounts on both sides. It's just a 2-piece bracket. We've got our light bar mounts, which it's going to utilize your factory light bar brackets that come with the bar when you buy it, and they bolt to these, so they're welded in. They come straight down where your light bar goes through there. Of course, on the other side, everything is fully welded inside and out on this bumper. We want it to be super strong. Now we've radiused all of our welds, all the corners all nice and pretty. That way this thing will look like one piece once it's bed linered. Now that you've got the idea of what the whole thing's supposed to look like, we're going to go ahead and build the grill guard section of this bumper. It's going to be 2 uprights, 3 bars in the middle, a hoop that'll tie in the side of the whole brush guard, and then it's going to have a bar that's going to go right under the tail light, or right under the headlight rather, and that way it gives you a little bit more protection than just the outside hoop. Also, this comes with recovery points, so you can put D-rings in it. So you can put them either like that, or you can put them where they go down. It's pretty cool. They make these to where they fit either way. So.
Alright, so while the bumper's being finished up, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the leveling kit for this truck. Again, it's the Tundra TRD edition, so it's got all the nice TRD suspension products underneath it. This lift kit, or this leveling kit, is supposed to work with that. It doesn't work with the TRD Pro edition, but it does work with the Sport edition. And of course, this is just a leveling kit. I think it's 2 1/4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on it, get the tear down, and then once we get the struts out, I'll show you how that goes together, and then put it all back together. Okay, so I ended up taking the whole sway bar link off just entirely. It was a lot easier than just trying to disconnect it from the sway bar itself. So now that we've got that finally off of there, I'm going to loosen the control arms on the bottom. So like I said, make sure you mark all your cam bolts. This one has cam bolts on the front and back of the lower control arms. Okay, so all 4 of those are marked. I look like an idiot crawling around on the floor. Okay, so for reference, the sway bar link nuts, bolts, whatever you want to call them, are 19 millimeter. It looks like the cam bolts, the fronts are 23, 24. I need to stand under this so it doesn't kill me when it drops. Okay. There we go. Every now and then you got to break out the 4-foot ratchet. Next, you want to take out your lower strut bolt. Well, it's a good thing I wasn't using that for something important. Take these 2 bolts out, and if you're familiar with Toyota control arms, you can separate your lower ball joint from your knuckle by just taking these 2 bolts out, instead of having to take disconnect your ball joint and then beat it with a hammer. You just take these 2 bolts out. So this is your strut. This is your strut spacer. There we go. So it fits like that. Nothing crazy. Comes with bolts, nuts. So the ones that you took off, and that's what secures the spacer to the stop of the strut. So again, reuse the factory nuts to attach the spacer, and you're going to have to do this one side at a time. You can't thread it all the way down. Just like that. And you can set it all the way down. So that's all that is. This is actually significantly easier than most other strut spacer kits. Most strut spacer kits require you to take the cap off the strut, put the spacer on, compress the coil down, and then put the cap back on. Those are really dangerous, of course. You have to be careful when dealing with coils. Thankfully with these, I don't have to take it apart. This one goes on the top, set it right back up in there. Really couldn't ask for a better design. It's simple, it's safe, it's relatively quick. So we're gonna get this put back together. Okay, so I'm not breaking out the big camera for this, but this is what it looks like after everything's back installed. Again, that is your spacer on top of the strut. The strut did not have to be disassembled to put that spacer on. Got our bolts back in, everybody's lined back up. So what we're gonna do now, per the instructions, is we're gonna put the wheels back on it, lower it back down but not touching the ground, and we're gonna turn the wheels back and forth and make sure that we don't have any clearance issues with the sway bar. We don't have to worry about a bumper, of course, because it's gonna have the beast bumper that's laying over there on it. But you wanna make sure you don't have any clearance issues, and then we're going to set it down on the ground, and then we're going to tighten our control arms back up. So after you get it set down on the ground, the suspension supporting the weight of the vehicle, then you want to tighten your control arm bolts back up. Don't do it while it's sitting up, and then we'll take it in and have it aligned, and then it'll be ready to go.
This is the Westin tailgate ladder. It's a universal ladder for any 30-inch tall or less off the ground when it's open pickup trucks. So this mounts to the inner plate of the tailgate. Of course, the screws are short enough to where they don't come through the outer skin. This holds up to 300 pounds. It's nice, it folds up, it's real tight, compact. This particular application, the customer wanted this to be able to be used with her tailgate extension. So that folds out. She's also got a hard locking bed liner or a bed cover. So this folds up. Sorry for the terrible camera angle. Sits down there. You can lock it to where it doesn't unfold whenever you hit a bump. Nice compact design. 4 mounting screws. It's very, very sturdy, and it closes up very nice. No issues there. It gives you a specified measurement. It has to be 2 inches from the outside just to clear the legs whenever you drop the ladder down. We couldn't use the measurement it calls out here just because she does have the bed extender. We wanted to make sure everything fit, and this is the furthest over we could make it to fit with the radius of that bend in the tailgate or the bed extension. So this is finished product. Of course, very easy to use, very heavy duty, very durable. I'm going to do a recap on what we've done. We've got everything installed, everything's tight. Our rigid fog lights that were wired into the factory fog light switch. This is what the finished product looks like. We opted to do some white D-rings just to kind of throw a little color on the black bumper. All in all, it turned out really well. Of course, all your lights are wired in, wires tucked. It's got its own distribution block that we put in. We also added in the factory parking sensors. So they're in their factory location, and they turned out really nice. So we'll do a walk around and let you see the finished product. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, see what all we're doing, see what we got going on. We've been doing some little shorts and a couple reels and stuff like that, just to do a little updates on the projects we got going in. As we get busier, we're going to try to cover a lot more content. So keep us going, keep us alive.